What's up, everybody? Here we are once again with top 8 for the Casa Bunch Friday night weekly local. I am Michael, Dr. Parati, being joined on my left by its Brad Manhattan Muse, and we are going to be bringing you all of this wonderful Street Fighter action here tonight.
I know I'm always prepared for whatever your M pun of the evening is to have me at best roll my eyes and at worst actively question things, but I was sold up on one that was going to irritate multiple people, and I'm not quite sure how Manhattan does it, except that it's
Yeah.
not the best whiskey cocktail you could order at a bar.
So, I was thinking about this earlier, and, the actual true one would be Brooklyn. But then I'd have to call you, Brooklyn Bradley Muse, and that's just not
It don't roll
quite
off the
same.
tongue.
Nope, it's got to be the M. But we do have our first matchup getting in the lobby shortly. Speak of the devil. It is going to be Flex Waves versus Moons, and we are ready to kick this off.
This is a crazy pull for a top 8 match. I mean, I'm sure we've seen it more than once. We've definitely watched it. Moons and Fluxwaves, both players that regularly make it up into these top 8s. But for it to be how we're kicking off the block is crazy to me. Looking at this top 8, this is, if I had to pick a match that's going to wake me up and make the coffee to my left redundant, this is absolutely the one.
Oh, 100%. And it's not like this is an abnormal matchup, like you were saying, but typically this happens with losers. I don't think
Yeah.
this specific matchup is a winner side matchup that we've seen very often. And the other member in our top 8 winners, Diego V, I don't think I've ever seen him in top 8 winners. Like, he always makes the losers bracket run. So we are in for definitely some treats today.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point. That is pretty commonly the thing. Yo, Moon's rocking the Dictator tonight. I know he's played Dictator, but I feel like we more commonly see him on the Cody recently. Off to an unfortunate start here. Absolutely guessing wrong in every situation. Hit, grab, get hit. Take the grab, get thrown.
Which, I mean, sometimes that happens. You can't guess right all the time, even 50% of the time. Gets the air reset, though, and makes it an awkward situation.
Oh, that backdash there from Fluxwaves was the perfect spacing for it. Any closer to the corner and it wasn't going to work. Ooh, are we getting scooped? VT2?
Right? V-Trigger 2 from Flux. And it's a command grab. It's so different.
It's like both of them have decided. I mean, obviously, Dictator, it's not uncommon to play VT2. I feel like Dictator can play either V-Trigger if they want to. But both characters, very strike-heavy, good frame trap-oriented characters, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a command grab now.
And it's something
we
that
got the explosion. Ooh, quit holding down back. And that's quite the run from Moons. Basically mirrored Fluxwaves' sequence at the beginning of the round, and then managed to make their way back out of the corner after trading VTs. Nice buffer off of that standing short there from Fluxwaves. And don't you dare walk back. I got some good-ass buttons.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting most about the Trigger 2 from Flux is because there's not that third bar, it's so much more resourceful. Like, you can't V-reversal as often as we typically see Flux, do so. And now they just have to hold everything.
Nice, using the frame trap. Oh, in both situations, ooh! Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, still shame on you. I'm taking the first game.
That was much quicker.
Yeah, I mean, that was clean. I like Moons' Dictator play. I guess there's similarities to the approach in some respects between Dictator and Cody. Like, they're both really good. They have some good mid-range buttons. They're both kind of pressure strikers. I feel like Dictator is a little bit more effective at playing that style, where obviously Cody has something of a ranged game with, the tornado throw.
Also, if you run skill 1, you actually have the reversal.
Yep.
And so there's definitely, like you said, differences. I think the heavier, chunkier buttons from Dictator are much more impactful than one of the ones we see from Cody. And when you have, these smaller life bars that you really want to chunk through, it definitely makes sense to take advantage of those heavier, slower buttons. I expect we're going to get Mika now, though, which kind of just ruins Dictator's day in a lot of sense, especially when Flux is piloting her. So I definitely think that's going to be the change here, or it's a trigger change.
I mean, it could be the trigger change. One thing is Poison V-Trigger 1 cashes out into so much damage, but it's not going to matter. We are getting the Mika. You called it. So this is going to be difficult. I think the thing about Mika is, I mean, she has a 3 frame, obviously, but no proper reversal. So is it obvious? Am I lying? She has a 3 frame. I'm not a crazy person. Am I? Somebody
No.
actually correct me. I'm now second guessing myself.
You are correct in that. But we've also seen just how aggressively Flux plays as Mika, and it's such a difference from the poison. And you can already see it's taking some really great advantages here. You do get exploded when stuff like this happens, and now you need to guess also for the stun. But that's the shoulder roll that we see so often from Flux that not a lot of other Mikas here do take advantage of.
Ooh, okay. Went for some sort of delayed option there. Did Moons wake up back throw from Flux Waves? Life comparatively even. We see the V-Trigger stalked here from Moons, but has to cash out with the V-Reversal to slow the offense, and now it's all about this mix-up. No, get scooped!
I did like that little air reset into EX Peach. That was pretty nice, and I don't know if that was in like on purpose or if it was just a nice little reaction sequence there. But I also don't think you can really plan for an air reset that often.
I mean, it depends on the character, right? Like Laura does it as a primary
Part
part
of
of her
it,
kit,
yeah.
for example.
Just grappler things, I guess. Oh, huge crush counter into the EX Peach, keeping him in the corner. This is good for Flux, and it's just getting better.
Oh, jump out, but the dive kick connecting, not dive kick, drop kick, I'm sorry. Still a D
He's
kick.
dead.
Is this gonna stun? Yes, it is. What a clean clap back from Flux Waves. And now the question becomes from Moons, does Cody fare any better, or do you rock out with the rest of the evening and continue behind this dictator pick? I think one of the difficulties is, I think you can pressure Mika. The problem is if she counter pokes at the right time, it's explosive. It's always going to be a volatile matchup. Like you're
And
never going to be in complete control.
this is definitely going to be the swap to Cody. I think there are a lot of good tools here. If you go skill 1, you get the reversal. You can play the better fireball game since Bison doesn't really have a fireball. So you actually gain access to that now and try and play it out. The problem is Flux is really good about sliding under fireballs. Like he's played so many Shotos here at the Casa. He is well equipped to slide under those. Plus, he can just jump over it and use his typical combo. And we saw how exactly high damaging that jump combo is at the beginning of last game.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see. This is one of the interesting things that you always bump into when you watch Flux Waves in tournament, especially at these higher levels and these later parts of the bracket where you start to run into people that you're more familiar with, is this counterpicking mind game that you see in the top 8, where Flux Waves has these other characters that they play at this top level. So you start to see this weird thing now where, like, if Moons wins with Cody, Flux Waves can then go to a counter pick for Cody if there is a better one in Flux's repertoire than Mika already is.
Yeah, and so far we're off to a good start. Is able to power through the armor burst there as well. Already getting great production out of that V skill, and just so many good things coming together from Moons now.
Ooh, okay. Strong corner position here. No, went for the command grab. Unfortunately, the up back finds their way out. V-trigger 2 here. Hit him with the chair. Oh, we
almost
counter
blew it
jabbing.
up. That's huge for Moons, and is able to get the kick on fall down as well. That jab just saved his game.
I mean, like, all of these players at this level are really good counter strikers. Like, I feel like I say it every week for virtually every player. They just find these gaps, and they're playing against each other so commonly, it's not unreasonable that they've got this innate sense of the other's timing. Ooh, okay, even that, there's a great example. That V-Skill 1 is going to be something that's going to be represented there from Moons to deal with the drop kick. So Fluxway's baiting it, but not gonna matter if you get mauled in the corner like this. Full resources on deck. What's it gonna be? Oh!
Oh no! Too slow on the clap, is gonna get punished up, and just an immediate run back from Moons here after the swap to Cody. Do we see a swap? I think maybe back to Poison.
Could be Poison. I mean, I'm trying to think. Poison plays the mid-range game better and is going to be able to threaten at a range that it will be a little bit difficult for Cody to deal with.
The problem is then there's the Urian counter pick for game 5.
Wait, does Moons have a Urian?
Not Urian, Bison. Sorry, not Bison.
Sure, exactly, which brings us
Bison.
full circle.
Yeah,
There's
so
still,
like,
I mean, if Flux Waves pulls out their Manat, then we've played each player has played every character, and that's like literally something that we could be seeing this evening. The thing is, I am not sure.
I think the not
I feel
works
like
into Cody.
see, I'm not sure. I feel like Flux's character selections kind of run the gambit of like Manat is the zoner, Mika's gonna mix you to death, and then Poison is kind of able to do both. Play that super mid-range focus game. It's at a range where it could be considered zoning, but it's still strike heavy. They're still dealing with the hurt boxes on the whip, and you've got the plus frames behind EX Heart Raid. It is the Poison, which means if Moons loses, we could end up, as you just said, seeing the switch back to Dictator to round it out.
And it is trigger 1 this time from Flux. Not going to be playing it awkward with the trigger 2 with the command grab. And nice little timing there with that EX zonk.
Spacing was immaculate.
Oh no, he's dead. No? He should be dead. Yeah. All right.
I wasn't sure. I'll take your word for it. Still had the holy shit. How did Fluxwaves already have V trigger? He was only down like 30% life.
I actually have no idea. That's super quick. And now we know why he can reversal so much, because it's just always there.
All right, but this is a strong performance so far from Moons. Oh no, if Moons had finished the target combo, that was gonna be it, but didn't believe in the jab, didn't believe in the heart of the jab. EX, Zonk Knuckle, continuing on these plus frames. Fluxwaves hesitant to counter poke. Needs to cash out into something big, and this is that something big. This is going to be huge damage, setting up the fire in the back. Jesus Christ, that's 60% life. Still has a bar. Okay, went for the throw, the anti-throw option, I should say.
Oh no, the Zonk missed because of the reset. Staying alive, but is able to get the target combo. And things are looking, it's kind of scary for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, Moons is on set point here, and to beat the Poison with both the Cody and the Dictator would be strong. I feel like Poison is the character we see represented most by Fluxwaves now. You know, if a counter pick doesn't work out, we do see that it tends to rest on the Poison. Plus frames, respects it, would have taken the throw. Plus frames again, not seeing V reversals from Moons. So you can tell it's either a willingness to deal with the mix or already having agreed, okay, now we see it because it's important.
That feels weird to me though, because now he's guaranteed to not get a trigger.
Yeah, that's tough. And then a bad throw attack loses out 2-2. And the question becomes, Moons is in the driver's seat. Do we switch back to Dictator? That was really close on the Cody. Do you trust the Cody? Are you concerned that Fluxwaves is warm? There's a lot at play here. And there's sort of, this is something that's really interesting about watching, like I was saying a minute ago, watching Fluxwaves matches. Just the fact that this can happen.
Going to lobby every game.
Every game. Nobody wants to hit rematch. Everybody needs that second. You know what it is? Moons is at the house. I assume they're all at Marv's house like they always are. I'm pretty sure they just all live together at this point, eating their Thanksgiving leftovers. But you know, Moons in between every game is looking back to the other room where everybody's making their, you know, Thanksgiving leftover sandwiches. He's just like, what do I do now? And then somebody shouts out, they are not. Okay, well, I'm going to pretend because it's better for my headcanon. The one time in months that they're not does switch back to the Dictator. We are ending where we begin. I open at the close.
I see you, nerd.
We can't talk about that anymore. Death of the author. That fiction was born into the ether.
Oh boy, social distancing is not going to be the name of the game here, as these two are just going to want to get close and dirty. And that is an interesting mix-up I don't think I've seen from Flux before.
Okay, a nice trip guard there. Doesn't find the button on the up back, but poking after the blocked view reversal. Moons with a life deficit, but a dominant position on the screen here. And just like that, you're in the pocket. This is exactly where you want to be. This is where Dictator really shines. All right, V-Reversal doesn't want nothing to do with those plus frames. Okay, jumping out of the fireball mix, finds the jab on landing. Okay, now this is going to be big. If Fluxwaves cashes out into damage, that could well be dead. Well, it doesn't have a bar, but it would still be close.
It'd still be quite a bit of damage if you can connect with something. But, I mean, just look at how much gray life is coming through off of this Dictator. Just everything chunks for so much, even getting a little bit of red. Oh, wait, he's dead. Wait, no, he's not.
All right, has the view reversal, doesn't want to deal with it, doesn't take the throw. Ooh, finds the low forward and cleans out the round.
That's wild. That was
Set point once again from Moons, threading the needle through the offense that is Flux. Nice big jump in here. Ooh, that was a sick anti-air.
Oh, catches the backdash as well. Is able to keep him secured. Getting a nice little poke damage here. But when you get crushed like that, the poke damage just evaporates. And the
Ooh,
lead
why
is
you
no
holding
more.
up back?
He's dead.
Even
He's dead.
even up in any capacity. Is this the secret to overcoming Flux Waves' poison? Is it Moons' dictator? Is that what it's going to be? Has Moons been... I'm sure it has to have happened, but I need confirmation from one of the bracket people. But I wonder how many times Moons has been able to get into winners finals, let alone doing it and not having to play Flux Waves in winners finals. I feel like so common if Moons makes it this deep, having to overcome Flux Waves. To have already done it is really good for them tonight.
Yeah, because now you can let somebody else do the hard work of taking them out in the loser side, which is looking kind of scary. You know, right now we do have Flux going up against DDM. Winner of that will play the winner of Azure Flame versus the
Loser of this one.
of our next matchup, which is Hermes versus Diego V.
Diego, the Long Island Spirit Bomb himself. We've got 2 copy pastas programmed in the Nightbot in honor of this man. I will say, to draw a little bit of attention, you alluded to the loser side. We did have DDM versus Hardman as a first round of loser side top 8, and DDM did take it over Hardman. And we also had Azure Flame versus Bushin Master, and Azure Flame took it. I will say, I was talking before we went live about how I've enjoyed watching Bushin Master, and was one of the names that I think of when I talk about appreciating that we opened up DR for this. So a little disappointed myself that we don't get to watch.
It's
But
pretty wild that you cast a curse him when he's not even on stream.
right, it's
It's impressive.
nuts. Yeah, I mean, I've got the power.
Cammy versus Ken. I don't think I've ever seen this matchup here at the Casa. Ever.
I feel like we don't commonly have Cammy players, and we probably don't commonly have Cammy players at the very least that make it super deep in the bracket here. I feel like the LI crew is usually really prominent. OG Yawn, Flux Waves. We've got a lot of recurrent names that end up in the top 8, and not many of them are experimenting with Cammy.
No, but I mean, it is always great when you get to see new players come in, new characters take advantage of it. And I mean, EXDP off, round halfway. Why not? Diego, style on him, I guess. Oh. But yeah, new players, new characters, everything looking good here. We are seeing a nice little advantage. Being able to finally break through that fireball wall as well. And it's actually skill 2, Cammy. That's super interesting. I remember Alex Myers was messing around with this quite a lot when it released, and it didn't really go his way quite often. So it's interesting to see it actually come back up again.
Yeah, a nice finding the reversal DP there, does Hermes. And also, I must correct something. Pointing out Cammy player that has made it super deep in these brackets a couple of times in a row. I'm going to blame the tryptophan for me. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Everybody's mind is clouded with turkey, and that's going to be my excuse. And I'm going to stick to it, and I know that it won't hold in court. Finding the anti-air, now this is something I wanted to point out. I wanted to point this out for in the last round, but one of the things I really love about Diego is Diego's anti-air game is super, super strong. But I was curious how that was going to match up against Cammy, where you obviously have to deal with dive kick versus regular jump, and that's exactly why the early dive kick at a regular jump range baiting the DP, this is going to be a really important mind game that we're going to see evolve between these two players.
Yeah, especially when we're getting DP Diego, not like, medium punch Diego, who, I mean, they're very different anti-airs for a lot of different reasons, and the punish on a DP is just so much more aggressive. That time he's finally going to be able to connect with one, though.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if at a certain point, if you get baited enough times, do you try to switch to the back strong or the and see what happens? Ooh, using the neutral jump to great effect does Hermes to take this first game over Diego. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is that anti-air game, and that's one of the things about Cammy is the strength of the dive kick is not just, being a good tool. It's the fact that it exists means every time you go to the air is harder, which means the other person is watching the air so much, which is what helps to open up this ground game where Cammy already has these great buttons and this fantastic walk speed. It makes for this. It's such a simple approach. Ooh, right at the perfect range. And that's kind of the pocket Diego needs to live in, where he's not going to care if it's a dive kick or a regular jump. He's going to catch you either way.
Yeah, and this is where we get to see classic Diego, who does have this really awesome, spacing game, able to play around with these fireballs. But again, like keep talking about, Cammy has these really nice ground buttons to completely invalidate that type of style once the air game gets figured out. And so we're seeing a lot of raw V skill from Hermes, and it's been punished once or twice, but overall it's just kind of there, and it's something that Diego has to be aware of. And trades like that are just not going his way. He's losing more HP than he's taking.
Ooh, finding the DP again. There needs to be a DP counter. In terms of a numeral and in terms of clapping back with their own big hit confirm. Ooh, not gonna. Oh, does have the cancel in the air. I forgot for a second that was a thing. I was like, ooh, that's unfortunate because I'm used to seeing the spiral arrow into uppercut,
Yeah,
not the inverse.
you love to see it. And now that could have been a really close round for Diego, but not exactly a CA player. Maybe that'll change with some redacted news that may have been going around Twitter soon. But we'll have to see now that Trigger's available for Hermes if they can bring this life lead a little bit closer.
Ooh, finding that anti-air. It's this perfect space. And that's one of the issues, right? Is, if Hermes is in the range where you can do that most effectively, Diego's in the range where he's not going to care. And it's like you kind of need to be in that space to open up the ground game. And if you're any farther back, eventually Diego's just going to let you jump at a range where he doesn't care. So that mind game disappears. There's this perfect pocket where it needs to happen. That's one thing you need to represent. Ooh, EXDP from Diego to clean out the first round on the board for Diego now. One round apiece here in the second game.
Yeah, that was, some really nice idea from Hermes, waiting, suffering through this fireball game to build up enough to, get that EX Spiral arrow out of the corner. But then they kind of fell into the Cammy trap where they're like, all right, I'm just going to double dash forward and do something, whether it's a throw attempt, a nice little button, meaty, and Diego just reversaled out. And now we're going to see this again, gets the double dash into low, into Spiral arrow, and now it's just Pressure City.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Oh, wow. That walk under from Diego, so good. And the big crush counter doesn't get the follow-up afterwards, though, but you're still in this really dominant position. And you see, Diego is really opening up his offense and leaving more room for it. Never mind. I was going to say leaving room for Hermes to DP out, but Diego will let you DP and then just clap back with their own. I need a tally of how many DPs have been immediately answered with the person who got DP'd DPing, because I feel like it's 1-to-1.
It's a lot of DPs. I mean, even right there, we saw DP into activation cancel into DP. So I've lost count already, being honest with you.
I mean, what do you even do except to go into this third game here, 1-to-1 of Diego versus Hermes?
And keep DPing.
Yeah, seeing a little bit more of a fireball game at the start than we've seen from Diego so far. And it's another thing that I talk about with Diego a lot is I love the different speeds that Diego is able to play at and how quickly Diego is able to switch between them.
Yeah, and it's something that we've really talked about since online Casa started, actually, once Diego started joining, because we were like, wait, it's a Ken player that can do quarter circle forward and actually put a fireball through, which is not something we're used to. And now we're like, oh yeah, that's just the Diego. Like he's gonna play, multiple different styles with a match, force you to adapt and really up your gameplay to try and match it. And I feel like we have seen that from Hermes, who has made a couple adjustments here, who has done some, interesting different style adjustments. But after that last game, Diego's starting to, keep a lead and being able to really punish a lead with these fireballs.
One thing I wonder whether Diego has an answer to, or frankly, whether there's necessarily an answer to at all, is Hermes is ending every block string into this V skill 2. And I know that's really common among camis now, but it's just, I wonder if there's a way, like if you're ready for it, if it's this common and in such a consistent space, can you like micro walk forward and whiff punish it? Is that something that you need to, you know, be ready for? Do you just accept that it's the case and take your turn afterwards? Do you get this throw in the corner with 12 seconds left on the clock and be up for the first time in the set as Diego V? I think that you do.
It appears to be what on my screen. That's painful though. Spending the EX bar to get the spot rail, just losing to the Prof Fireball. It's definitely not a good feeling, and just everything so far afterwards has been less than ideal for Hermes.
Right, good position. Finds the low forward. The stand short buffer, keeping this dominant screen position. And once again, this V skill 2 has simply not mattered for Hermes. Diego isn't counter poking in the spaces and ranges where Hermes is electing to throw it out.
Yeah, and it's an interesting mechanic, and you know, like I was saying, it's interesting to see how it actually plays out when we haven't really seen that much Cami here, and B, the Camis we do see, I don't think they play skill 2. I think they stick to the more traditional skill 1, and I mean, even there we saw it raw, and like it's safe, so you don't have to really worry about T too much, but you also don't get anything out of it.
I think, isn't it, someone in the chat will correct me. In fact, Datvip will correct me, a prolific Cami player that I forgot about. Isn't V skill 2, doesn't it go through fireballs?
Yeah, I don't know that one. No, we've seen it get hit by a fireball, I think.
Maybe it depends on the timing. I don't know. Maybe I'm full of crap. Dom says I think it nullifies it.
Okay.
I'll check the frame.
That's a lot of damage. Does get a nice little crush. I think that was it again. I think we actually just saw it get bopped by the V skill, or by the fireball. You were busy reading chat and we were visually watching it on screen. But that's going to be Diego just, again, DPing to his heart content.
Yeah, okay. So I spoke blatant mistruths and lied to the people. I'm going to keep blaming tryptophan if I'm not on my game tonight. It's because I'm weighed down by all this turkey.
Are you sure it's not the whiskey?
No whiskey tonight, actually. That's what I'm missing.
You need a little bit more pep in your step, Brad.
Apparently.
Oh, man.
That's gonna do it. Maybe that's, I don't remember the last time I commentated a Casa event without whiskey on my left. Maybe that's the problem.
Coffee on the right, whiskey on the left. What more do you need? Although mine's actually reversed. I got coffee on the left, whiskey on the right. So, you know, bases are covered. Bunch is getting ahead of the game. We haven't even started drinking yet, buddy. We were trying to keep it professional, but now that you've given us the go-ahead, we can definitely make that adjustment very quickly. Just like Hermes has been adapting to this series so far, but hey, DPs.
Oh, doesn't care. That stand short buffer doesn't care at all about your stuff. One hit will finish out the round. Diego not taking any big risks. Walk in, walk out. Ooh, my anti-air game is too good. Get out the skies.
Yeah, that was actually really good because even if it trades, you come out ahead. And so it's just, you know, the nice little catch all there. Spiral arrow through the fireball again. Able to finally get that follow-up. And, oh no, it all fell apart.
Yeah, even finding the cross under after the air flip to take the corner position back. Finding the V-reversal, but look, even now, just choosing to stand in the range where the anti-air is going to come out, and he's not going to care about dive kick versus regular jump.
Yeah, and he's also keeping a nice little range where he's gonna, or he was trying to force that EX spiral arrow again, so that you don't have access to the CA to try and, you know, keep it metered. But now uses the EX Tatsu to get the corner control and actually gets the hit as well. Things are looking scary.
Yeah,
This is set point.
Next hit could be stunned. Doesn't find the anti-air. The managing to cross up and get out of the corner off of that V skill. Has CA on deck here. Does Hermes. The right hit confirm could clean this out. Yep, that should do it. Staying on the board. Diego's season 1 character was Cammy. That doesn't seem... I'm watching Diego. Cammy is not a Diego character. I've never met the guy.
I'll say I don't know if I agree with your assessment, but I mean, he's definitely playing the matchup pretty well. He's brought it back very nicely. It is set point for Diego, even though it is 1 round apiece here in game number 4. And Hermes making some amazing adjustments. Oh, actually gets the stun too. I didn't know if that was going to do it.
Okay. Diego not out of this, has VT activation, nearly 3 bars, but this is, I mean, you need 3 straight touches for stun, and then maybe a reset after. This is the start.
Holy, that's
Could it be? Have I spoken? Oh my god, is this gonna stun? What did I say? What did I say? 3 touches into stun into kill.
Clip it, rip it, and ship it. Hermes just got freaking robbed. Holy.
My god, it's like Diego heard me through the airwaves, was like, 3? Okay.
I'll do it in 2.
Throw, overhead, fake cross up, stun, dead. Damn. Diego V, which sets up LI versus LI winners finals of Moons versus Diego. And that ain't all, because there's more. This was 2 OD sets. We still have loser side Flux Waves versus DDM, and now Hermes versus Azure Flame.
Man, that was straight robbery. That was so brutal to watch.
Damn.
I can't wait to watch him do that to Moons too. That's gonna be amazing.
Wow. Like, and we hadn't seen that type of chained offense come out of Diego yet. Never went to the overhead. Never went to any of that gimmicky shit for the whole set up until that point. It hadn't come up. And it's like going through the drawer of like, all right, I need a tool for this. Like, don't I have a weird 3/8 socket wrench lying around somewhere? And then found it. Exactly when you needed it. You're like, all right, there we go. I haven't needed this in 7 years. Is that even a measure of a socket wrench? I don't know. I'm not handy.
I didn't actually hear what you said. 3/8.
I don't know. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, if it's in a fraction, it's imperial, and you're probably good. If you use metric like the rest of the world, then you just use millimeters, and you're also good. But oh, man. Yeah, that was nice. I enjoyed that. That made me happy. But we do have our next matchup. We are taking a bit of a detour down to the basement. It is going to be our losers side matchup. It is going to be, as you can see on your screen, SFV DDM versus Fluxwaves PC. And this is what? Manat versus Cammy. Not Cammy, Chun-Li.
Manat is... that's an interesting pick into this. I guess the idea being that like Cammy's mid-range game is good enough, or Chun, I'm sorry, I just did it too. It's your fault. Chun's mid-range game is good enough that you don't want to bother contesting with it at all, so you go to Manat as the character who can most effectively play outside of that range. Like, Chun is already going to inform this slower footsie game, so might as well pick the one that's even farther beyond it. And then you obviously have the skill Reflect to build V-Gauge and nullify any fireball game that Chun may bring to the table.
This is just going to go to time every round. We're already at 55 seconds, and there's still a third of an HP bar left for DDM. But, I mean, the punish game that we're seeing from Flux right now is actually insane. It's something that we've known him for previously, but it's just everything is connecting. Like, there is no room for DDM right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty clean, and this is kind of what you need to see from a Manat, especially in this matchup, and it's probably part of the justification behind the selection. Finding the V-reversal through the gap, and even if that didn't happen, you've now got the whole screen for Flux Waves to walk back. And Flux Waves will walk back. Nay, Flux Waves will up back, and will jump back from P2 side corner to P1 side corner and not give a damn.
That was a nice little funky cross up there. Does get the corner pressure too, but instant back throw to alleviate.
Ooh, okay, that was interesting after the late V skill, but finding the standing roundhouse anti-air at point blank range, orb still in play. Okay, and just like this, now Fluxwaves is in a decent position. Using the fact that the orb is out, DDM explodes behind it, does the double dash. I like that. And now if you keep the offense on, you make it harder for Fluxwaves to really start. I think backing off after the hit in the recall was a mistake because the orb wasn't going to be a problem. Blocks the overhead, really good. Ooh, you might be dead. Yeah, you're dead.
Yes, yeah. That was an interesting sequence because Flux actually got a ton of hits in and just nothing fully translated into that final combo. But definitely going to take advantage of that one last hit, cash out, get the game win. And do we? What does DDM have? I wonder if they're just going to run it back and try and play a little bit more aggressive.
I think part of it is you need to kind of get a degree of comfort with in a situation like that where, I mean, I think to that situation where Fluxwaves are called the orb and on reaction to it, DDM hit Stand Fierce, hit Fluxwaves and punished for it, but then still backed off as though the orb was a threat on return. And I think that was the opportunity where you really press the offense. Like what you're unfortunately forced to do in this matchup as Chun is you need to be the aggressor. And you really need to keep stuff going and you need to smother Fluxwaves. Because if Manat is allowed to keep playing this mid-range game, it's just not going to work in your favor. You need to smother her.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been seeing. No cancel on the overhead there from Flux. But again, not really too much going on. They're trading fireballs effectively. And as we can see, this greatly benefits Flux. DDM sitting there thinking about a game plan, trying to come up with something. This is definitely something that you kind of need to do, but you kind of needed this game plan like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, now we got some mix. Ooh, finding the back throw, and just like that, we don't even care about the corner position. Look at how much screen I have. Backdash Stand Fierce. Why are you coming at me? Dive kick over the fireball. You don't get to do this just because I jumped back. Doesn't mean you get to take this screen space. I haven't committed to nothing, says Fluxwaves.
That's wild. I've never seen Drill actually like do damage. That's pretty nice. And it's interesting because Flux does still have like a close game. Like we've seen, this really pokey, crush countery style work out really well, but they're also perfectly fine just trading here. Like they have no problem with it.
I mean, I'm just watching and like DDM has not, except for one sequence in the first game, has not had the opportunity to get in any closer than like Stand Fierce, Fireball, or overhead range. Like the fact that we're seeing overhead as a poke in a lot of these situations just to try to get in and get something started. But we're not seeing any points where DDM is getting in enough to start like a throw game. It's not happening. Finally, the start of one, but just like that, one hit, standing medium kick, you're out. You got nothing off of that. And maybe it speaks to a difficulty for Chun. Maybe it speaks to a difficulty for Chun, right? Like maybe your throw game on like a crouching short just simply isn't good enough, or like your walk speed or what have you. Maybe you just can't stick to Manat enough for it to matter.
Yeah, I mean, I am super curious if it is a character deficit or if it is DDM having not quite that much experience with Manat. I know that coming from Boston, we did have a couple of really good Manat players, so that like we have experience viewing it and watching it and seeing how it works. But I imagine that not every scene is actually going to have a Manat player. And I mean, look at this. Now that there's 8 seconds left on the board, like what do? Like you can't overforce because you just get jabbed out.
Yeah, and you know what? That crouch jab was close to checkmate anyway, because it definitely could have done just into super for Chip. DDM had no opportunity to view reversal because Trigger was already locked in. Like, Fluxwaves was taking no risks and waiting for the first opportunity to just churn out super. It was a guarantee. It is known. Shoutouts to that's from The Mandalorian, right? I'm cultural.
This is the way.
This is the way. What is it is known? It is known is from something.
It is known is.
I didn't even finish season 1 of The Mandalorian, so.
It's getting pretty good. We're getting into some really meaty, juicy bits of expanded universe lore. So it's fun to see. They're tying everything together in a nice little wrapped bow just in time for the holidays. It is known. I'm pretty sure that's Skyrim. But
I'm not sure. I can check on the side.
Hey Siri, what is It Is Known from? Siri just ignored me.
Oh,
so.
it's Game of Thrones.
Oh man, we suck. No, yeah, Mandalorian's definitely this is the way. But this is not the way for Flux Waves, as we do see slide in, does get a nice little V reversal on a DDM, but things are looking quite bleak this round, actually. Wait. Wait.
I mean, Flux Waves kills in
He's
one.
dead! Oh, he dropped it! Flux!
Oh, but we don't have chip. Okay, finds the crouching short, cleans it out. That was so close.
That was the
almost
first time
reverse, almost the reverse robbery.
That was the first time Flux had to do a combo this whole set, and he dropped it.
Sometimes you ain't warm.
He's like, man, I got really bored of just pressing heavy punch, and I forgot what I was supposed to do.
Thanksgiving was yesterday, which means, as we all know, it's now officially Christmas, so it's cold. And Flux's hands are cold.
It's been cold for a week now. It's miserable. I hate it here. Take me,
okay.
California.
Stun mounting, but an sort of a hungry jump, and Flux Waves finds the anti-air. Strong position here. CA on deck.
Trigger.
A little bit more. Yeah, I mean, a little bit more Gray Life, and DDM could go for a chip kill on CA. And you kind of see it, like this Fireball game now starting is like, oh!
That's huge.
What'd I say? A couple of Fireballs, and then suddenly you've got the V reversal hitting is what clinched it, obviously, because it does Gray Life, but very calculated. Sometimes you tunnel vision in the negative and you fixate so much on a particular thing that it blows up in your face. But I think DDM took a really good stock of all of the resources on the table and made that call, especially knowing full well how strong Flux's defensive play had been, that you weren't going to get very many opportunities to try to either kill in the first place or lock down for long enough for guaranteed chip. Finding the proper V reversal and then just finishing the deal after and stomping the neck. Great follow through.
Yeah, and as soon as we see DDM get comfortable, it's right back to the lobby. Is it going to be Poison? Is it going to be Mika? I don't know, because I thought the Manat did really well, and it's interesting to me that Flux was just like, nope, one game is my limit. After I lose one game, I'm swapping characters. Like, I'm not even gonna pretend to play a second game after I've lost.
I mean, the advantage that Flux Waves has is that he can make the decision of how wide of a change in approach that he wants to make, right? Like, could have swung all the way over to Mika and just gone a full-on 50-50 coin flip machine of like, whatever, I'll bet it all on black and we'll see what happens. But instead going for something more measured, more pressure heavy. And I think, you know, to your point, DDM got comfortable with this kind of methodical game, but DDM wasn't really pressured very much. Like, to your point, there wasn't like a lot of combos. It was a lot of errant hits and trying to navigate through the bullet hell game. Which, I mean, it's not a real bullet hell in a fighting game. It's not Mora Doom, but it was that you know, flavor of a game. And now we're seeing instead Flux Waves can now be the aggressor. And as DDM, you're not used to that. Flux Waves only needs one game, and you're not used to his patterns in this capacity now.
Look at all this gray health.
Yeah.
Like, it only takes a single hit at that point. Like, what are you supposed to do as DDM here? Like, you finally had a game plan. You're like, all right, I know what I'm doing. I took a game. I just got to do that again. And then now out comes Poison, and you're like, it's the same, but different. And my same game plan is just not working.
Okay. Finding the anti-air is a good start. Trying to get something started. I mean, it's not dissimilar to what I said about Manat, right? Where it feels like the difficulty here for Chun is going to be, it's like you want to be able to be the aggressor and try to smother and get inside of the whip range and not let Poison dominate in the space where she wants to. Problem is, the range where you're effective is less effective than Poison's buttons at that range. So, like, what do you... Like, you're either doing what you're good at worse than them or doing what you're bad at and hoping you can make it work.
True. And sometimes you just have to be bad to be good. But now we're seeing, you know, a very slightest of life leads in favor of Flux, and it's basically gone now. But they were just playing this very keep away game, letting the clock time out, waiting for DDM to make a mistake. because it is map point now for Flux. And look at this. You get the life lead again. Back off.
Oh, and you're
You're dead.
dead. Oof.
It is indeed showtime. Flux Waves moving on in the loser's side of the bracket is going to be finding themselves waiting for an opponent as we will be heading into that Hermes versus Azure Flame matchup next.
Yeah, shout outs to DDM going home with a respectable 5th. This bracket tonight was lit. I think we ended up after no shows were gone. It was 49 players. That's the biggest bracket, right? I think 2 weeks ago we had like 42 or 43, and that was the biggest at the time. So this might be another new record for Casa turnout.
Correct. We do stay breaking records. We look to see that broken next week as well, chat. So if you haven't already, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your followers on whichever platform is your poison, and be sure to hit that exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. That will support the players you are seeing here tonight. All you have to do, copy and then paste that coupon code into the Matcherino page, and it will donate 50 cents of magic money into the pot here tonight. And it is nothing from you guys, it is nothing from us here. It is just literally 100% free money. I think it's actually the pocket change from all those magicians that like do the coin tricks of now you can see it, now you don't. And it shows up in our Matcherino wallet, and it goes out to our players because our players love magic.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to share this, I'm gonna be real. I won't even make fun of you if you retweet it on Parler. You can do it there. I promise I won't say anything.
I disagree, but moving on, we do also have our item shop that does support us here at the Casa. We have made a bit of a migration away from the Teespring. We are now on our Streamlabs shop. We'll have to see if our Wonder Twins can get that link up in the chat. There is a lot of really good stuff on there as well. So you might want to check that out and see if anything suits your fancy. The holidays are coming up, folks, and you definitely want to see your grandmother decked out in the best of Casa swag and stay safely distanced. Maybe just mail it to her and FaceTime her on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever. But we do have our players in the chat, and I am holding up the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever called you a polite house guest, but no, we had a copy pasta for.
Wait.
Oh my God, there's another copy pasta I need to remember. Oh God, social. What is it? Social something. The one about someone social cues.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Dom's got it. Dom's on point. Dom's all over it.
Yo, Dom and I entered it at the same time, but shout outs to Dom for being on the money, getting this stuff all out the door, and for putting in, Bunch put in the link for the Streamlabs down there. I actually need to go and show some love for that too. I've been meaning to buy a new mug, and they got a plus size mug in here somewhere.
It's literally the first one. But yeah, I mean, if I buy another mug, my housemates might actually kill me. So I'm gonna more focus on the fantastic hoodie and backpack that I mentioned earlier. And what is on my screen? What is this? Is not a Casa matchup. This is amazing. This is great. I love seeing Gil. He's so different from what we're used to seeing. Cammy is just a very good classic as well. And this should be an exciting matchup to say the least.
I mean, this is weird. Okay, gonna have to rely on that V skill probably a lot for these anti-airs. Because, I mean, I'm not rightly sure that Gil's, normal anti-airs are going to provide a dependable answer against the varied air approaches from Cammy. Or you can just find the crouch fierce.
Yeah, sometimes it just works. Oh, Crouch Fierce, where have you gone? I know you were here tonight, but...
Where'd you go? I missed you so. Feels like it's been forever. That's, what's that, Fort Minor?
Yes.
I'm full of weird, dated references tonight.
I mean, Fort Minor's not that dated. Like, he did put out an album, I'm going to say somewhat recently, and then chat's going to tell me it was like 6 years ago, and we're going to be like, yeah, but... This matchup looking pretty even.
Nah, it's dated, man. That song came out in 2005. That's dated as
Oh
hell.
yeah. That song super dated, but Fort Minor did come out with an album way more recently than that. That song in particular is dated. Fort Minor in general is not. Um, but CA from Hermes gonna tie it up. Round start knee drop.
Ooh.
That's an interesting take.
Not only round start knee drop, but then following it up with the V skill. Finding a V skill through the block string here against Hermes, though. Has CA on deck. Going to be able to cash out into some big damage. Not necessarily has to be CA. Could be the EXs. We got the Retribution stacks in the back. Ooh, finding the jump in. The utilization of these jumping normals from Azure Flame has been really good into the CA, but I know the scaling on this is not necessarily great. Oh, still going to kill. It doesn't matter. Shout out to Liam O'Brien hitting him with the Seraphic Ring. You've just been killed by Messiah Gara.
What?
Because Liam O'Brien voiced Gara from Naruto, and Gil fancies himself the Messiah. Keep up, Doc. Come on.
I don't think I'm that far in Naruto. Like, I just finished the Sasuke retrieval arc. I'm like,
Then you've met Gara. What the hell?
yes, I know who Gara is, but I don't know Messiah Gara. I know he becomes like,
No, I'm combining. It's two references.
oh, all right. Well, see, these are the things I don't know because I'm not caught up. I didn't know that wasn't a single reference. You're confusing me.
Yo, keep up. I need you to. I've got a small cup of coffee in me, and I'm still just making shit up.
Yeah, I don't need coffee to do that, Brad. Crush counter with the V skill too. It's the first time we've seen it do something in this entire night.
Right. Ooh, okay, that's unfortunate. That must have been an execution error, maybe a spiral error to get underneath the fireball. Okay, anti-air trades.
Uses the EX fireball, trying to get something done. Nice little jump over, even on the parry. Didn't get the cross correction off of that crouch fierce, and now they're gonna eat a bunch of damage.
Okay, finding a little bit of walk under, stealing some space, but
Oh, he's dead.
Big damage.
He's dead.
Oh yeah.
Dead. See you next game.
1-1. I mean, there was talk in the chat that Azure Flame doesn't have a Gil, but I don't know. 1-1 is legit.
Against Cammy, yeah, I'd call that somewhat legit.
I would assume, and you know, again, I'm not a Gil player or a Cammy player, so the finer points of this particular matchup, the details of it may be lost on me, but I would guess it would not be a stellar matchup for Gil because Cammy is going to be able to smother him super effectively.
Yeah, I mean, you even talked about his anti-air options, and we saw them kind of play out in a bunch of different scenarios throughout the match. We did see him actually land a crouch fierce a couple times, but then even in that last game, we saw him get the parry, and the cross correction didn't come through, so he crouch fierced the wrong way and got absolutely blown up for it. So now that we're heading back to the lobby, we are going to get a character swap here, and I know chat already told me exactly what it is. It's going to be Boxer, but that's a bit of a nostalgia trip. And Trigger 1, Trigger 2 is the question.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the love for Trigger 2 that we saw when it first came out has sort of no.
What?
Sagat? Okay, I wasn't ready for that, but I don't have the familiarity with this player that others might. So I'm going to once again shift my eyes to the right and look to chat and see if somebody tells me that he also doesn't have a Sagat. We're just going to have to see rocking the pink shorts. Okay, based on the fact that he wants to shoot this kid, I'm assuming that he doesn't, but it's looking kind of good right now. That was a good anti-air.
I mean, he's in top 8, right? Like, clearly he did something right tonight, whether he played Boxer the whole way here or not. But, I mean, this is definitely another matchup. You do have reversals, you got DPs, you do have, you know, that big high shin kick that we've already seen work out so far. You do get kind of blown up in the corner, though. That is definitely something that is less than ideal.
And you need to be able to bring out the anti-airs. That was 2 regular jump-ins in the corner at a jump-in range that were not DP'd and caught reaching. Hermes getting him with the swing. It doesn't even matter how high the stun was. You're just going to die.
Yeah, I mean, even if he had HP, it would have stunned him and he would have died anyway. So definitely a win-win scenario. Missed time on the anti-air, and he actually lost more HP than his anti-air crush counter did to Hermes.
Okay, finally finding the anti-air. That's something that's super important to represent if you can pull it out. And if you're able to tune in to the timing or find the pocket on the screen, as we saw to, highlight when Diego did it in the winner side earlier, that's super important. Cash out into CA? No, waits, wants to cash out on the next hit to kill with it.
But one more nice little cancel from Azure Flame and could get the CA or even the trigger activation, which could lead to death. And now there's no trigger activation available for Hermes or even V reversal just yet. So it does have to play a little bit safe, but could just go for the EX spin kick. Okay.
Again, no anti-air on the regular jump, using the V skill to find it on the screen freeze.
Oh,
and then
no!
a whiff punish. Ooh.
That was nice.
Found the space. 1 round apiece.
No.
Game 3.
No jump
Loser
this
side.
time from Hermes. Still best of 5, so they do have a couple games to play with. We may yet see another character swap from Azure Flame, but they're actually going to get the first skill activation. Okay.
Yeah, cashing in the Angry Scar. So now, I mean, what's important is we need to see that anti-air represented. That's one of the things that makes this pretty good, is if you're able to pull that out and set up that Angry Scar, challenging a jump in leads to really big damage.
All right. Gets the 2-piece. Blocking on the spiral arrow. Keeping it through. I don't know. He's alive, but...
Yeah, but it's a
not feeling so
one-touch
hot.
game. But with the resources Azure Flame has, a 2-touch game?
I imagine he could get a 1-er.
You
He
think?
does
I
have
mean,
to
maybe.
connect. I don't think he can activate and then CA though.
Yeah. No, the activation will scale too hard. You would need like a very tight combo into CA, or I mean, after that, okay, now it's becoming a clearer one-touch game with CA. Ooh, caught reaching aggressively too. The like slight micro walk back, and what was good there, I mean, the low forward from Hermes obviously was an answer for shimmy as well, because it would have caught the walk back. So I mean, just like that little, it was the exact perfect spacing to catch both options there from Hermes. Worked out really nicely. 2 games to 1.
And we're back to character select. Is it Bison time or Boxer time?
There's a drive and a megaphone at play from Asta FGC in the chat. It sounds to me like Azure Flame has the
Might be a
hecklers in
Boxer
his
player.
corner.
Might be a Boxer player. I could be reaching here.
I have to. I gathered that, Asta. You don't call him Cam and roast him like this unless you're homies.
I mean, you could, but it'd be
I
weird.
mean, I don't even know if it'd be weird. It would just. I mean, one makes an assumption. So my thing is like, why and maybe this is just like a knowledge gap of my own that perhaps I don't have, but like, Boxer Cammy must be really problematic for Azure Flame to continue to lean away from it. Finally bringing out the Boxer.
We are about to find out if it is truly terrible. I'm thinking about like the matchup and like how they each play, and I imagine it is probably pretty problematic for Boxer, and it's definitely a matchup that you're going to be very familiar with.
Ooh. Yeah, that seems about right. That's what as I was thinking about it, it was like you both, like, all you have is a ground game, and Cammy's walk speed is better than you. Her buttons are like a little better. Her counter pokes are fine. Like, she's got the air approach, and your anti-airs aren't super duper great. Like, it's just, I can see on the surface level, if I go in with the vacuum of how is this for Boxer, I can see why there would be some difficulties.
And they're definitely being put on display here. Gonna get a nice little sequence now, though. Even gets the overhead into reset. Oh, nice little throw escape. Do it again.
Ooh, just out of range, and a little bit closer. That button would have finished the job.
That's a nice little, though. Does get the side swap and just finishes his plate. Finally gonna win around for first time in a while.
So that's interesting. I was talking about it from the perspective of why would this be bad for Boxer, but Boxer deals chunks and Cammy bled. So, I mean, maybe that's something in your corner, right? That like you're dealing this crazy high damage. Okay, great spacing from Hermes. This is going to be really tough for Azure Flame. Ooh, the superior walk speed walking down. Okay, low forward. Oh, wow. Finding a little bit of room to breathe off a whiffed dive kick. This is the chance that Azure Flame needs. This is set point for Hermes.
Does have activation. Does need to use it soon, though.
Ooh.
Never mind.
All momentum based on this matchup, says DapVip. It's all or nothing for both characters. I definitely believe that. I just like, if that's the case, right? If it's all momentum based, then I start to think about who is going to have an easier time seizing that momentum. And my gut would tell me Cammy, just because I feel like, I think if Boxer needs to steal a momentum, I think it's riskier for him to do it because, like, sure, he can control the screen more in that he's got the dash straights and the rush punches and stuff. But if they're blocked, it's minus, and now it's Cammy's turn in your face, and she can start the momentum if you're wrong. Whereas Cammy can play a little bit more patiently in doing that. We saw a lot of the neutral jump roundhouses falling as answers around the dash straight. So that would have been my guess if I had to evaluate it just right now on that. And I'm going to take a second because I need to finish the conversation from above. Somebody said they fell off of Naruto at Pain. Let me tell you some real facts. I was in high school when
Spoiler.
Naruto... you're not going to know half these characters, and it's also not going to matter. And so I won't name names for your benefit on a, like, 15-year-old anime. Congratulations. But in Shippuden, when they had the big thing where Pain attacks the Leaf Village, I was reading the manga because I'm that level of nerd. There's a tournament. Yeah, we're in between matches.
Yeah, we got time to fill.
Point is, I missed a week after Pain messed up the Leaf Village and killed all those characters. And so I was talking to some friends, and I'd missed the week. I was like, yo, I'm kind of excited that the show is finally, that the anime is finally going somewhere. Because, like, you don't kill all those characters and then, like, not go anywhere. And the whole room fell silent. They were like, you didn't read this week's, did you? Every character just got brought back to life. And I never read another chapter.
I've actually heard this story before, which is kind of wild to me.
Are you accusing me of telling the same story multiple times? Because you wouldn't be the first one.
I think we've actually been in this exact position where it's you, me, Dom, and Diego in the lobby in between matches having this exact conversation.
Yeah, and Bunch was probably tight then. At a certain point, Bunch is going to be like, why do I keep letting him on my feed? Except he says that every week.
Yeah, right? Like, it's not exactly a new thing. Like, he knows what he's getting when he puts us on the block like this. And he really has no one to blame but himself, considering he put the schedule out, like, this morning. So, like, he even got to sit with it, like, all day.
At least Naruto ended better than Bleach. Yo, I've never gotten into Bleach. And I've tried on a couple of occasions.
I really wanted to like Bleach because the thought, like the theme of it is hella dope, right? Like Soul Reapers having individual, like dope ass, like sword powers. It looked amazing. And I never watched it because I was busy watching like Inuyasha and stuff. So, although they're doing the Bleach 100-Year War or whatever it's called, which hopefully that sounds like it should be good. People in chat tell me it's good.
What is basically Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin had a baby Naruto is? I don't even know that that's not a good description at all.
I think he's talking about Bleach. Yeah, definitely Bleach.
Oh yeah. It's a shonen anime but swords. Like Yu Yu Hakusho, but everyone
I mean, there was the girl. Oh no, the girl didn't have a bow. The nerd guy had a bow.
Yeah, he was a Quincy, right? That's what they called it. And then they changed his name and put him in Tekken 7. And his name was Claudio. Winners finals, Li versus Li. You can't hit Moons with the Li Spirit Bomb because he's part of the energy that you're supposed to share. Diego's going to have to win this on his own volition. The V-Skill 2 from Moons here representing the anti-fireball game.
I think there's enough dick sucking energy to go all around LI, Brad. I don't think they need to share it. I think they can each have their own dick sucking. But we do see a nice little jump throw coming in from Diego. And there's the skill too, already coming to fruition.
I can't believe you said that sentence.
What, jump and throw? It looks skill 2 again. It's working out exactly like you imagined it would, Brad. Everything's come. Oh, he gets hit with the rock.
Oh my god, that rock hit so meaty.
The Krillin tech coming through, gets the activation though. Trying to stay alive, only needs a pixel from Moons though.
Oh, fine. Finding the backsway once again. The mileage of V-Skill 2 for Moons paying off in dividends. What Diego, I mean, Diego's going to need to start opening up the fireball game and deliberately baiting it. Issue being is, like, I'm not rightly sure of the timing where, you know, because obviously Moons can swing out of it anyway. Are you allowed to, like, not do the fireball and, say, just sweep and whiff punish in between?
Yeah, I don't know.
Combo goes for the neutral jump. Really deep hit on the Air Fierce.
I almost would have liked Diego to not end the stun combo in stun and try and get like a weird setup for the wake up there and just kill him off the stun. It does end up coming out ahead anyway, so obviously it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
You know, Doc, now that you've said that, you're officially a grappler player.
Yeah, I play Mika and Laura.
Like, there you go.
Facts.
Cashing out that big damage on the CA. Ooh, back sway into the sweep. Okay. And now starting a fireball game of his own is Moons. Diego sitting on all the resources. Any tick will get him V-trigger as well. And we've seen that Diego's life is a formality. Moons has less life than Diego's last opponent did with all these resources, and Diego made quick work of that. He doesn't give a damn.
My question is, who just raw Tatsus mid-screen like Diego did? Like, it
Every
worked.
other Ken player. What kind of question is that?
But like, it worked. Why?
Doc, because it's a Ken. I like. Do you not go on the ladder like at all? Have you ever opened up Street Fighter V with your controller in your hand and sat down to play a game of Street Fighter V?
Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's weird looking to me. And it doesn't make sense in my tiny brain because I'm just like, just punish it. And instead of get hit by it, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? Like, if your brain is too smooth or not smooth enough, it's not going to make sense. There's a band where the line becomes a circle and like an Ouroboros feeds on itself and suddenly the pro is now the scrub, and that's where Ken has to live.
All right, hold up. I'm gonna dissect your comment a little. So if your brain is too smooth or not smooth enough, those are just polar opposites. It's either smooth or wrinkly.
I mean,
which is not smooth enough would be wrinkly, which means
right, but it needs to be so wrinkly.
Like a grape?
No, you
Sorry,
have to transcend.
like a raisin? Like a date?
You must transcend like puny measures of wrinkles, and you must instead live in the Tatsu. That's where the circle comes from. The rotational force of the Tatsu becomes the overlap of smooth and wrinkle brain, and that's where Ken has to live. And I don't think you were ready to hear that, so we're just going to go right back to the game. Diego up around here in the second game. Moons had a really strong performance in that first game, but Diego is finding a little bit of space here. There's obviously, I mean, you have to adjust around that V-skill too, obviously. It's such a big change, and Diego's so good at that now I'm zoning, now I'm not zoning kind of game.
I think my brain's lagging. Still trying to process what you said earlier. But Moon's looking to get the life lead back. Trigger just about going to expire, so the pipe is one hit wonder. Doesn't even need the pipe, though. That skill 2 is getting so much done.
I am so impressed. Like, Moons isn't reading the fireball. It looks like Moons is reacting to the fireball. Like, obviously part of it is informed, but like that spot there, that was just, yeah, okay, you threw it, now you're dead. Just ready. Moons is ready. And it's the same, like, Moons being ready is how he got to winners finals anyway. You gotta be ready to get past Flux Waves. Getting past Diego, this might be a formality.
I mean, we've seen loser side Diego run it back, so maybe he does have that double jeopardy left inside of him. But Moons is looking really good here. Is on, one game, one round apiece. All right, timing finally coming through for Diego, but he needs to do that a lot more.
Ooh, into the activation.
Oh,
Oh,
command
I'm
grab.
sorry, son.
Oh, the rock went just a little over his head. Too much girth on the pipe there, as we do see the pipe trying to get a little bit more. Oh, is he dead? He's dead.
Oh, yeah. Never bet against Diego anti-airing you.
Unless you're Cammy.
I mean, even then, he got some ample anti-airs.
What's going on with chat? Chat's weird.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about with respect to chat. Everyone's
Tying
on
it
my
up.
side that I broke your brain.
Tying it up one apiece. We are still in for a bit of a match here. It is still winners side, winners finals, 1-1. LI would not be remiss if they didn't give us a show, and they are definitely giving us one.
All right, Moon's able to start a fireball game of his own now. Ooh, the first fireball of the round already ready. But the anti-airs once again. Diego, I mean, Bunch out here saying you gotta test Diego. I don't know. Diego's looking like a grade A student right now.
What? Brett, he has no HP left. What are you talking about?
One jump, one anti-air.
Ah.
If you're testing his anti-airs, you can't be looking at his hit points.
All right. I suppose if we're using that type of math, yeah. Amazing.
Don't you know how standardized testing works? I'm only speaking to his math score.
Bro,
Just because he can't write a 5-paragraph essay.
Oh, man, we're in Massachusetts. We invented standardized testing.
Yeah, so you should know better.
Yeah, we are well aware about what numbers do things here, as we do see this round starting off a bit slower, but they're playing a bit more respectful. I imagine this will devolve very quickly.
Okay, finding the towards roundhouse. Moon's a little bit in the driver's seat here. Okay, stand short buffer. Gonna become a much more important button as the set moves on, just in the way, like the space in which Diego is having to find to counter poke here. It's at a great range for him to blow up if Moons is gonna try to keep using the backsway exactly like that. Like that's a range where if you're gonna throw the fireball, you could walk forward, stand short, exactly like that.
Yeah, this is actually really good for Moons. I don't know if he just has the read on Diego, but he's been making everything work so good. Oh, that's pain.
Cody wins.
Dormancy coming into chat just to blow you up for talking about Naruto. I have been
What?
spared the wrath of Dormancy. 2-1 here from Moons.
All I said was that I'm not current.
Moon's looking so dominant today. Could this be his week? Someone will correct me, but I am fairly certain that Moons has not won a Casa yet. Lots of top 8s, but no Ws.
I don't... What? I'm still... Dormancy. All I said was I'm not current. Brad's out here talking ish, and I'm here trying to bring us right back around to Street Fighter V, and I'm getting the runaround. But we do see a new copy pasta in the chat.
Where the hell did that come from?
Eating Kellogg's. It's definitely a copy, but I don't know where from.
There's something about it that looks vaguely familiar. Just like this ass whooping's looking familiar. Moons still has VT. Ooh, but once again, he's seen that equation. Finding the anti-air. Strong position, corner side now here for Diego. Second throw. Do I see 3? No, would have challenged you. But finding the fireball.
Definitely tried to jump out of the corner there. Was waiting for a different button to come out. It is going to be the fireball working out though. We are seeing Diego picking up around there, trying to tie it back up 2-2. But I don't know, Moon's has been playing on point so far. But I think we're getting to the point of the match where we are getting that Diego download coming through, trying to make something work. It's clearly working. Moon's below half HP. Finally going to get something going with that back throw.
Okay. Finding the, ooh, interesting. The fireball blowing up the follow-up backsway. And now using the stand fierce of the pipe, just using the additional range. Diego trying to inch out of the corner here. Inching a little bit, okay. Even using the whiffed crouch fierce as an opportunity to walk forward, but my stand short a little better than yours. Sets up the rock. Ooh. Oh,
2
we
in a row.
chain those.
And then just the regular throw, back throw to follow it up, making sure that there is no escape from the big manly muscles. And now it is set point for Moons. He just round start CA off of a confirm. He'll build that back, don't you worry.
Nothing personal, kid. Moon's trying to close this one out. Moon's won October 3rd, said Emily. Okay. Then, once again, I'm wrong about a thing. We can have a Brad's wrong counter, too, and just keep it a tally running forever. And when it hits a certain point, I'll just donate money to the pot or something. Finding the back throw here does Moons. Diego in VT has CA on deck. Ooh, the slow fireball, so smart.
He's just waiting for that command throw to come on through. Moons trying to back up and play it smart, but Diego's not giving him any room. Gets the baseball swing, rock in the air, not gonna connect. Things are looking so scary. Swing of the pipe, gonna connect, and it's only one more. It's a one-button game.
We didn't see anything off that roundhouse, and finishing the job there does Moons, making it here to Grand's 3-1 over Diego. That was really good there from Moon's strong sense of the mid-range, and then like the gusto of that final round there of just opening in with ruffian kick right into CA is an explosive round. And I know there's a lot of memery tonight. I'm having a lot of fun just shooting the shit. So if anybody wanted like a super serious one on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, when we're all recovering from food comas, I don't know that tonight was the night.
You definitely picked the wrong day. Come back next week and you might get something more serious, but no promises. Not as long as I'm around. That's not what I'm here for.
But we still got the rest of our top 4. That was just the winners finals, but in the 4th place match we have Flux Waves versus Hermes, and the winner of that goes on to play Diego.
Cheese and Crow, we might actually get some double jeopardies coming through. Flux Waves. If Flux Waves lose here, it is Hermes versus Diego, which is actually the person who knocked Hermes down into loser's side. So that's double jeopardy. And then if Hermes continues forward, actually, if they lose to Diego, then it sets up Diego Moons again, which right now it says it's 100-0 in that winners finals. My math is off, but I don't remember us playing 101 matches there. But my brain could be slowly melting into a puddle.
What I'll tell you, Moon's 100-1 over Diego. At a certain point, sometimes you won the set 3-1, but it was so demoralizing that there had to be some extra games in there. It's the opposite of, it was 3-0, but it was close.
There's nothing close about a 3-0. If you come to your
You've never had a close 3-0?
No. I'm saying if you go to your TO to report score and you go, yeah, it was 3-0, but it was close. That TO is laughing you out of the building. I don't care if it was actually close. That TO is having none of it.
Bunch, I'm going to need you to confirm when you come in later to talk about the winner and to say that I'm an asshole like you do every week. Please let me know if 3-0, but it was close, will elicit laughter from you. As we hop into our loser semis, Flux Waves starting right out the gate with the poison, Hermes with the cami that we've seen from them all night.
It's working out. Holy. Tried to get the shimmy, but gets the DP stun instead, and that should just about do it.
Oof.
Yeah, sorry, chat. I didn't realize bringing up Double Jeopardy was going to elicit these types of emotions. Bunch is confirming laughter in the chat. But yes, definitely rip Alex Trebek. We did lose a legend, and sorry, chat. Won't talk about it anymore.
Ooh, okay, finding the anti there, just Flux Waves. I mean, that first round there from Hermes, like, that's the type of round that you want out the gate with Cammy against a player of Flux Waves caliber.
It is looking a little bit closer now, though.
Ooh, big jump in over the whip. That's the kind of thing. I mean, that's the thing about Cammy, right? Is like she's got that strong air game and then the strong ground game and the multiple air approaches. It's hard to get stuff started. Ooh, meaty flames? Oh, meaty flames again. You can't backdash. I got the whole screen covered. Welcome to Portland.
What?
I don't know. No one accused me of being clever, okay? 1 round apiece.
Also, which Portland?
There was almost a joke that I said that absolutely no one would get and would have purely been for me. But instead of that, I'm just going to talk about smaller screen gives poison more range. Interesting observation. Will confirm if true. Wow, really representing the anti-air out of the whip stance here. Ooh, but the EX Spiral blowing stuff up.
We do get the activation from Flux. It is the trigger 1, so it is the Molotov. So we'll be seeing some flame on the screen in just a second with that V reversal, giving Hermes so much room to work with and definitely avoiding the fire. But it is eternal, just like Death and Taxes. You will always get Molotoved by Flux Waves.
Managing to bring it back a little bit more explosive than Fluxways absolutely wanted to see, but you're playing against Cammy. That's kind of par for the course. Sometimes she's gonna just absolutely get in and open up on you, and that's not what you want, but clinching it out anyway. And I feel like as this set goes on, ideally if you're Fluxwaves, you kind of hone in on Hermes' approach, and you're able to tailor your neutral game accordingly. That's kind of like the goal here is like, all right, I'm already in the driver's seat. I'm up. I just need to continue gathering data and executing on it.
Yeah, and it also works out that if you can't, whip them into submission, you can always swap over to the Mika or the Manat and try and play a different-ish style gameplay. With either the Trigger 2 from the Mika that we've already seen tonight that has a lot of lockdown, or that complete disengage Manat that we've also seen work out very well for Flux so far tonight. But the poison seems to definitely have a lot of merit so far.
Okay, that crouching jab, really important. That's the kind of thing where Fluxways is walking back into that mid-range where they want to establish that pressure, even slowing it down. Fluxways still getting out, though, and this is a little problematic for Hermes. Oh, no, doesn't finish the job after the activate. Isn't able to cash out, but it doesn't matter. Finds the trip guard.
Yeah, I think on that activation, they were just too far away because they one dash didn't bring them close enough. So it looked like they started to do the second dash, and it just didn't end quick enough.
Yeah, I do think you're right.
But guess what? We won the round, so, doesn't matter. And now we do need to see a little bit more from Hermes, because if they lose this round here, they do find themselves down 2-0 in this first to 3 series, which against Flux is pretty much a death sentence, right? Like, they just have too many characters, too many styles of play that you all need to adapt to. Finding yourself in best of ones at that point, it's just so hard to break through.
Ooh, went for a tick throw there, but Fluxwaves ready for it. There's the activation. I think 2-touch game for Fluxwaves on the right hit. Only has the 1 bar, so it's going to be difficult to really maximize things. But if you empty Hooligan in the face, it's not going to matter. All right, meaty fire.
Oh, no. I gotta be honest. So the empty Hooligan is interesting to me because it's something we've seen a couple times now from Hermes, and both times in my head I'm like, just grab him, and it would have worked because both times the opponent just held down back and didn't really do anything until after they landed, and then once they land, they're too slow to get a button in, and they end up then back on the defense, having spent that bar just to be close to them.
So 2 games up here for Fluxwaves, looking to move on to the losers finals and finish off the last 2 bodies at LI. Gonna have to see if they're able to do it. Hermes needs to bring this back 3 games straight. Decent corner position here, but the one time going to the air, and Fluxwaves dashing out. This is a lot of Grey Life on the side of Fluxwaves, though. But Fluxwaves doing a great job of stalling that forward offense. Like, the Grey Life doesn't matter if you're not able to open up that game. And okay, just like that, all the screen in the world, Fluxwaves' favorite thing. I got Flux Waves in the Secret Santa. What am I gonna give him? More space to walk back.
What?
Because he wants
Oh,
the.
no.
All right.
He's gonna go down here. 1 round set point now in favor of Flux Waves. Does not have the meter advantage, but I don't think we really need the meter advantage from Flux to have them in a good position here.
I feel like so much of this matchup, the meter is kind of a formality, right? Flux Waves can either use it to cash out damage or to chain offense on EX heart rate, but Flux Waves doesn't need to because using it is gonna bring Hermes close enough anyway. Even the non-commitments, right? Just hitting the stand jab and not really worrying about anything. Finding the jump in though does Hermes. Stun mounting, but no, the empty jump mix-up or the neutral jump mix-up rather, and just like that, stun gone, stuck in the corner, eating this fire. This is super tough. Big meter on the side of Fluxace to try to cash out. You're eating all this gray life, chipping away. Now it's 1 touch from like 60% life.
But staying alive, doing some good stuff. Now it's definitely 1 shot. We are gonna get the actual cannon spike out of the hooligan now. And it's literally a 1-touch game for either side. We are going to see who gets it. It is the back throw.
Okay, that was smart from Hermes. Finding the moment to really open up the offense and just bet it all there. I mean, at a certain point, you kind of need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do it and it just doesn't work out, and you just have to end your tournament life just being like, yeah, I swung for the fences and it bit me, but at least I tried.
Right. Still the forward throw. Stun mounting, but I'm not positive. Okay, stun no longer a factor. I think it would have had to be a back throw to try to finish the job.
Does get the back throw into the corner though. Flux Waves now gonna be having some good positioning here. Is getting chunked into oblivion, and Hermes is actually gonna finally win a game.
I mean, this is the start that you really need, right? Here's the problem. Flux Waves has 2 other characters. I'm not necessarily positive that either of Flux Waves' other characters are better picks against Cammy. I think Poison is maybe the best of Flux Waves' characters to play against Cammy, but if you just need 1 game, like, who isn't making a bet on a Mika for 1 game every now and again, right? I don't know that Flux needs to, but it's not on the table.
Yeah, I think the Mika pick turns this matchup into an almost 50-50 setup. Yeah,
but you don't need to. You don't need to at all. And Flux Waves is in a great position.
Yeah, the Manat's just completely off the table. Cammy's too quick for that. But the Poison does keep it in the most stable 50-50 that we've seen so far, whereas Mika just sets it on a rotisserie spinner and just lets it rip.
Yeah, Dapfip saying Mika versus Cammy is hard. I will trust Dapfip's opinion over mine as I am not a Cammy player. Oh, went for the reset. So smart. I love that. And not even anything like super technical or anything. No sort of weirdness. Just hits the crouch strong and then is like, you know what? I'm going to wait and then hit another crouch strong. You're just going to let it happen.
And I'm wondering if Hermes actually has the read now. He's been seeing a lot of Poison play today. He's been watching a lot of Flux matches, both good and bad. And so with the Cammy pick, we kind of get a counter. Oh no, it's 1 more for stun. Does finally get out of the corner though.
Okay. Stun gone from Hermes. Great counter poke. That's once again that range that's really going to matter. Has to go for the heart rate. And here Flux now needs to try to do this. One of the difficulties for Flux Waves as this character is like...
Ooh, I like that. Tried to get tricky with it, but the course correction coming through. Gonna work out in Hermes' favor, and finally just gonna stick that boot out and get the last hit.
Yeah, so both going into this last round here with a fair bit of meter. Hermes can cash out into something big. Is going to need to make sure this continues to happen. Flux Waves is going to, chain behind that heart rate.
Yeah, I do like the DP out. It is a nice little reversal tactic. We don't get a lot of DP characters, so we see a lot of people rely on these V reversals in this situation exactly like that. So actually having access to that EXDP works out really well.
Flux Waves continuing to try to play small. I like that dash forward, found the perfect range to try to trip guard there. A little bit late, unfortunately, but even just to have the spacing for that, super, super good.
And Now just playing full sail, fly away. It is once again set point for Flux. The reversal out from Hermes, and they're just spending meter with zero regard for triggers this time.
I think one thing is Fluxwaves keeps periodically whiffing this high whip as an anti-air, and Hermes is occasionally in range to do something about it, but isn't awake enough to do something about it. And I think that's a big deal. Oh my god, so many dashes right into it. Ooh, that wasn't a cross-up, my guy. Going straight into the CA. Absolutely not. I'm trying to think. One touch. Oh, probably two touch at the very least. Oh no, that was not anything.
That could have been disastrous. Tries to get the dash in to punish that air whip. Everything is just on a razor's edge right now because if Flux gets a solid hit, can just get a hit.
So I really like Flux's approach there. And I'll tell you why. There was so little life on the side of Hermes. Hermes couldn't eat any hit, right? There's A. B, 10 seconds left on the clock, and you've got the life lead as a character who can effectively zone. So you're going to fill the screen with shit. There's B. C, every one of those special stance whips is building you meter, and you very nearly have CA. And the second you build it, now any hit into CA is a chip kill, regardless of anything. I think that was like, even just spamming it there, like it didn't matter. And if you were wrong and Hermes threads the needle and gets in and kills you anyway, it's not the set. It was a very intelligent and measured response in the moment there that I think was really, really good.
And you know what, Brad? It sets up a Casa Classic. It is going to be Diego V versus Flux Waves, something we have seen an absolute ton of and something that we can definitely never get enough of, as we do have one player in the lobby just waiting on Diego V to pop in and say hello. And this should be a good one. I imagine we'll still see Poison, but I can definitely see some Mika play coming out here.
Yeah, I mean, as people can very plainly tell, I'm not completely here today and not remembering a bunch of stuff. So I honestly cannot recall what Flux traditionally plays against Diego. I feel like we've probably seen at least one invocation of every character against Diego. I mean, would be my guess. They've played enough that I have to guess we've seen each iteration of this matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, now that it is for, who the winner here moving on to grand finals to play against Moons, Diego just, they 100% want that run back. They want to try something new against that Cody, who did just kind of mop the floor with him with that skill too. But the Poison, Mika, Manat, Roulette Wheel, you have to find yourself through first, can be very daunting, but they're just ripping Mika. All right.
Yeah, so Cravat was like, I think mainly picks Poison. I imagine that's probably true, but I feel like that describes Flux Waves in general. I think Poison is largely the comfort pick.
I was going to say, I think the Mika first is probably what we're going to see because it does bring the most volatility into the matchup, and she does so well into the fireballs. The whip hurt box can be kind of detrimental, especially with the way Diego can play fireballs, just layering them time and time again. Whereas the Mika, you can slide under them, you can try and roll them, you can do a lot of different funny things with your jump, either jump forward, jump neutral, and you can use the belly flop to try and play around with it even further. And I think that is the type of gameplay Flux wants to bring into this game one.
There's also something to be said, right, where I think Diego is a kind of player who gets warm and gets hot. And I think if you're going to pick Mika into Diego, you want to try to maximize the possibility that he's not already warm. You don't want him on the money and able to maximize on these really minor situations. So bringing it out earlier when he's not warm, when he's not necessarily wise to the way you're approaching stuff that day, is better than trying to pull it out later when Diego's already kind of used to what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, and I mean, something we've already seen twice now is Flux getting hit by a fireball and Diego trying to then follow it up with a DP, and it's just like frames too slow, and then it gives Flux a full punish out of it too, which is huge.
All right, but here now has the corner position, but backing off wants to play this kind of pseudo fireball game, but that's unfortunate. Picks the time to throw the fireball. It's the same time that Flux does it. Okay, finding the throw, getting around to Nadeshko. No, you do not get to dash at me. I'm gonna hit this jab. 1 round apiece.
Yeah, good looks from Diego playing around that trigger activation. You know, we have seen both triggers now from Flux's Mika. We saw the trigger 2 earlier, trigger 1 now being the generally accepted one that you run on Mika. The chair only has so much going for it.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna be honest, I've literally never seen a Mika player play VT2.
like on purpose. It's always an accident where you're like, ah, damn it. I didn't mean
by
this.
God, she's hitting him with the steel chair.
Yeah, it sounds cool. Like you get the big shing sound and then the chair comes out and just clunks them. In theory, it's good, but
Calling out the Nadeshko, burning the V reversal there from Diego now. But with VT gone here from Fluxwaves, that's a big opportunity that Fluxwaves no longer has in their pocket. But with the way the V gauge works, a 2-bar V trigger, we're going to see maybe going to be able to cash out another one, depending on how Grey Life works.
maybe if we get a microphone charge.
Ooh. Yeah, okay, so would have gotten another one, but Diego,
Died.
wise to it, walking forward and finishing the job and taking the first game. Wants the run back with the homie. Not comfortable with the 100-1 L that Diego took in winner's side.
So what are you saying? Double or nothing for grands?
Yeah, if you don't beat me 300-1, it ain't real.
It ain't real. Get back here and whoop my ass more, please. Oh, what are we gonna see? What is it gonna be? I think it's the poison.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. And, I mean, it makes sense. And I feel like I'm trying to think about the approach of the matchup. And I'm trying to think of, is there something about the poison matchup that maybe I'm not thinking of in this moment, which would inform why Fluxwaves would open with Mika outside of just the fact of picking Mika early in the set to try to get something out? Maybe it's something that I don't rightly know.
No, I think you pretty much hit everything on the point there. It just probably unfortunately didn't work out. You know, sometimes you take that L and you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna force this anymore. I am gonna just take the easy route out, swap out to my more practiced character. That's something that I've probably played a billion times into this Ken. And the difference is, it's now Diego's Ken, which is so different from a lot of these online Kens because they do have the versatility. They do have the varied approach to the game, and you now need to play around every avenue. And look at that. Fireball into EX, trades with the whip, and Diego is just melting this HP bar.
Okay,
And
so
he's
now
dead.
that I'm watching it, I am immediately remembering all the other times that we've watched this, and you're exactly right. It's the EX fireball trades that are problematic. It's the fact that Fluxwaves has to cash out EX bars into the flip kick as an anti-fireball option, which means that he's not getting EX heart rate to cycle offense or to cash out for the big damage that we quite so traditionally see. Those are some of these issues. Like watching it now, I'm just like, oh yeah, of course it was that.
Of course, this was always terrible to watch, and just unfortunate, because it is really true. Like, what is Flux supposed to do in this particular matchup when Diego's on point? Like, yeah, we've seen this matchup before where Diego's playing sloppy. Maybe they've been indulging themselves and they're just not really feeling it. But the Diego that we've been seeing these last couple weeks, I feel is just so lights out compared to some of them in the past. They are gonna fall here, but I don't know, man. Diego's a different beast these last couple weeks.
Yeah, I think the Casa team was correcting me earlier in the same breath where they were correcting me that Moons had in fact won. I think Bunch pointed out that Diego had yet to get a W in a Casa bracket. And that's one of those ones where I'm like, are you for real? Like, it's really not happened? That can't be right. In top 3, like every week, you're telling me it's never come together?
Yeah, the moons have never aligned, and we're on what, week 30, 34? That's insane. And like you said, top 3 almost every single week, and it's just coming together now. As we do see, HP bars pretty dead even. We do have the little screen on stream, so we will hopefully get that corrected in just a second. But burning away, gonna find themselves off the Molotov for a second, but that's a lot of Grey Life to deal with.
Yeah, has the VT, and that's what you needed to be mindful of from full screen. And now you got to deal with the mix, with the pressure. Has the 1 bar, but I mean, an EX Fireball trade in that situation is rough, and that's why we weren't going to see it. Instead, trying to cheat forward with the dashes, EX Fireball trade was going to run the risk of dying on the trade anyway. Fluxwave's getting a game on the board themselves, 1-1.
There was also the potential for a CA trade into the Fireball, which is just the flashy version of everything you just said. So, but one apiece now. Losers finals. Winner still moves to grand finals. Nice little trade situation here. Definitely going to punish that Tatsu, though.
Okay, plus frames using the V reversal. Okay, we answer V reversals on V reversals.
Why are there angry Pikachus in my chat? We didn't say
What?
anything bad this time. We've been good this game.
Trying to keep this mid-range game going here is Fluxwaves. Diego always cheating in behind these fireballs.
Oof, that's a good
Oof.
start here. Oh, it's just getting better.
Oh, that's a big jump in.
DP.
Oh, didn't cash out. I think you could have gotten the CA cancel on the first hit there, but waiting to finish the job later, the benefit, now here, Diego gets to reap the benefits. Going into the next round, fully loaded.
I love that. Does the activation into raw neutral jump? Like what? Hello? That's great. Who expects that?
Neutral jump fierce from Ken, a really common option in the corner there.
Yeah, I think it was just doing it off of activation, which was like what caught Flux off guard, because you're expecting him to activate into a ground button, and instead you just get shimmied by the neutral jump, and it just ate up so much of that life bar. And looking to do it again. CA available trigger ticking away.
Oh!
And not quite stunned. Went for the shimmy, gets it, and will find themselves up 2-1 now in losers finals.
So good. We're seeing Diego has the tricky stuff around stun when he needs to. We saw this earlier as well in that great sequence that y'all better make go viral on Twitter, because it's the sickest shit that I've gotten to watch in a long time. But even
honestly,
there, bringing it out.
Which one, Brad? Like, we've seen so much godlike play tonight. I feel like there are just like a half dozen clips.
But
you
I'm
could
speaking
say that about.
I'm speaking specifically to Diego with the 1 HP comeback on exactly 3 hits.
True.
Making his opponent look like a combo video in winner's side top 8.
That is
Looking
a
like
good clip.
Javits going, this is max damage on an overhead. And someone sits there and goes, but landed in a real match. And Diego landed it in the real match.
Bet. And makes it happen. And is going to get the hit on the activation. Stun bar no longer an issue for Diego, but might have a life bar issue, which is just too far away. That's unfortunate. Oh, guess the anti-air keeping it alive.
Oh,
right.
wow. Very measured response from Fluxwaves, finding the anti-air on the attempt at a jump out. And I liked that, right? Set out the fire. There was only a little bit of life left, and you knew at that point it was checkmate. All you had to do was wait.
That's the zoner player coming on through for Flux, making sure that everything works. Not going to get the second hit, unfortunately. And Flux seems to have gotten a bit of a download. Going to let that CA fly as well.
This is a big life deficit here on Diego's side, but literally tonight we've watched this not matter.
Yeah, I think what this does do for Flux, though, is it sets up these trades. Like, we talked about it being such a negative for Flux, having that whip hurt box. It really kind of can take away from the type of style that we see Flux work out so effectively. But when you have this just incredibly massive life lead, you can take these trades on purpose because they're always going to run out of HP before you do.
Yeah, all right, 2-2. This is super tight, but finding the jump in now over the whip stance. Oh, I'm shocked that didn't cross up. Oh, the back throw, is that going to stun? Yes, it is. I don't think you've got the damage behind this to finish the job, though. You need one more hit. A back throw won't kill, but a shimmy will hit him with the golden letters. Diego not even giving me time to pass the mic figuratively over to Doc. Wants to speed run this last game of the losers finals and get back into winner's side. Ooh, I get you one. Are we getting two? Shimmy attempt. Okay, Fluxwaves finds the room to get out of the corner. This is big. Exactly what he needed.
Oh no, that was definitely a misinput on the V reversal. You definitely didn't want to let it go on a fireball, and that's an uncharacteristic input mistake there from Flux as well. And that was the first perfect we've seen all top 8, by the way.
Was that it here? What?
Oh man, the button's so good.
Hitboxes.
It's the best button in the game.
They're not just broken as controllers. Hitboxes are broken in practice. Finding the anti-air whip stance, but no, I don't care about your neutral jump. You can't test Diego's anti-airs. Oh, the hungry EX axe kick from Fluxwaves to try to make something happen. Diego in a pretty good position, going for the EX fireball. Okay, that hit gives him another EX fireball. Goes for the shimmy. V reversal, not gonna matter.
Oh no, almost got caught reaching. Not quite gonna happen yet though. Just dashes up and grabs the EX heart rate.
Third place for Fluxwaves. A close 3-2, but Diego was here to play. And Diego definitely wants that grand finals run back. You don't 100-1 me in a first to 3 and get away with it.
Hey, we might still find that out, as it is going to be our grand final matchup. Moons versus Diego V. Diego, coming in from the loser side, does need to win 2 first to 3s to find their grand champion title, which could be a bit of a tough situation. And if you guys are in the chat paying attention, Brad has input the correct command this time. It is going to bring up the match arena link as well. You can see there it is Casa SFV 29 is our coupon code for the week. You can either type that in manually, or to make it easy on yourself, you can copy and paste that into the match arena coupon code. I do believe our Grand Blue versus ones are still live as well, so if that link can get posted in the chat, you can use Casa GBVS29 to contribute 50 cents to that pot as well. And the players are ready to get into it, just lightning quick. We are going to be heading into our grand finals matchup between Moons and Diego V.
I mean, this was so dominant, it seemed, in the winner's side from Moon. So dominant, in fact, the TO decided to call attention to it and highlight the ass whooping in the challenge page. So we're gonna have to see whether Diego, now warm, making it through all these other competitors through the loser side. Loser side Diego is a different beast, as you've pointed out all night now. And now Moons does have to play loser side Diego. He's got that Zenkai boost.
We'll have to see if it comes out, though. We do get multiple side swaps coming through. It is still that skill 2 sway trigger, and we are going to have to see how much more usage you can get out of it, or if Diego has used his brain effectively to come up with a counter to it.
All right, a nice position here from Moons. Ooh, wow. Okay, that's the second Zonk knuckle now that's hit in such a way for him to be able to do that. EX Zonk. All right, but the first reversal here from Diego, getting the side switch off the activate. What's it going to be? Okay, meaty throw. What do we see afterwards? Right, lots of patience here from Moons. Damn!
So many counters. That was like a... oh, no. 2 hit. EX Zonk into activation. Oh, fiending for these command throws again. Just wants to keep him coming into rock setups. Swings the pipe, not going to connect. And things are looking a little scary here for Diego, as any single hit will do it.
Continues throwing these fireballs. Moon's not quite as awake for the fireballs with the V skills now, it seems. Or perhaps Diego's finding a different space to do it, close enough that it's harder for Moons to react, and he's forcing him to read. And maybe that's going to be the more long-term play here, is playing the fireballs at this closer range, forcing Moons to make reads, and then punishing him for bad ones.
Yeah, and as Moons sends Diego to horny jail, I think part of it also is that you don't get the time to swing the fireball back at him, which is something we saw happen a couple times in the first series between these two, because once you send that fireball back, it gives you ample time to set up the rock mix-up as well. So it's a bit of a two-play there, but we are going to have to see as this progresses, if it continues to be the game plan from Diego to keep that awkward angle of attack.
All right. Corner pressure here from Diego's Ken. Be looking for an
what?
activate here from Moons. Not going to see it there. Sweep activate. There it is. Set up the rock. Any hit will do it. Okay, managing to find the way out, but the Zonk Knuckle catching Diego. Trying to be a little antsy. Moon's taking the first game. Moon's sitting in the winner side, so 2 more games now for Moons to take this.
And that would be another crown for the king of Mafia City. It's not Mafia City. I don't know the Mafia City. Wait.
Now I don't know what you're talking about. Is this what you felt like when I was talking about Ouroboros and circle lines and smooth brains?
No, I've seen Full Metal Alchemist. I know what an Ouroboros is. But no, because he's a mayor, but he was also in prison. Granted, he's shirtless now, so I don't really know where that falls in. He's like a hillbilly.
Well, that's a reference to Hager's costume.
Well, yes, I understand that, but like, it also doesn't fit into his, prison ties or his mayoral ties.
But he's the mayor of the same town that Hager was from.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. That's context I was missing. That makes sense.
All right, so you're missing the lore.
Yeah.
All
Listen,
right.
reading is difficult these days. We have all our screens, our technology, our YouTubes. Like, it's so much work. But we are going to continue to see the health bar evaporate for Diego. Moons picking him up off the ground, picking this first round up as well.
Moons makes Cody look so good. When Moons is really on, he makes Cody look sick. But really dominant position here. Good position here for Diego. Has lots of resources here too, but I mean, we've seen that he'll already do it. Ooh, overcommits.
That's the second time we've seen that now. And I don't know if Diego's just getting gassed and, is finding this fatal flaw of these long brackets. Oh, works out that time.
All right, went for the shimmy, no bite. I feel like Moons isn't really biting in the shimmies so much. Oh, 1 button confirms. Good shit. Low forward super. We 3rd strike now.
It does mean that he's coming into this last round here in a bit of a deficit. Does have no meter available, not even anything. Oh no. It's so interesting to see these like weird little chip interactions that they've been playing around so much. Just mashing buttons and getting these nice little counter hits.
I mean, they're both really trying to ensure that the other is patient defensive. Like, it's just like, yeah, you can try to walk back, but like you're not gonna hit any buttons and you're not gonna micro walk forward. Like, you can sit there or you can walk back, but you ain't checking shit. I dashed forward, that's just to buy a little bit of room. Get the CA. It doesn't matter. 1 more touch. Get this throw. That's how we do it in... Oh my god, why am I drawing a blank on where Cody's from? I just gave you flack for not knowing the lore, and I'm drawing a blank on where Cody lives. Metro City. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so glad chat has our back, Brad, because we're freaking useless. 2-0 now in favor of Moons here in grand finals. 1 more game is all it will take for him to be your Casa Volume 34 grand champion. Great jump in there from Diego, though.
I mean, Diego keeps having these good sequences, but it's just not converting to much. Moons is defensively playing really well. He's not reaching in these shimmies. He's not, like, there's a willingness to take the throw, and Diego kind of isn't capitalizing on it. And that's the issue, right? Is like, you need for them to be scared of the throw game to open everything else up as Ken, and it's just not happening. Ooh, early jump in fierce now. Next hit will do it. Oh my god, the minor delay between the low short. The smallest extra delay there, but finds the counter hit. That's the type of super subtle adjustment that we're really going to need to see here from Diego to make this just turn around and go his way.
Yeah, and I think a huge part of it also is that because the throw exists, right, but the fireball doesn't, we're getting this like triangle of attack from Diego where it's like, all right, my fireball game is strong, so you don't need to worry about the throws or the neutral buttons because the fireballs are good. Once you remove the fireballs out of the equation, you're just left with buttons and throws. And so you can not be afraid of one because the other one's not going to kill you before you kill them. And so that's why the throw's not scary, because the fireballs are already invalidated.
Okay, finds the walk forward low short. Okay, went for the throw. Moon's teching that time.
Yeah, one more for death. Diego's finally going to find himself on the board.
Yeah, but the winner side did go 3-1 Moons' favor. So one game in the set is not statistically an outlier yet. This could be consistent. We need to finish repeating the experiment to have statistically valid data. If I'm Diego, I'm hoping we can get more of that. Some of it is we saw those micro adjustments in the way that he was treating the offense. Knowing now that Moons will go to tech the throw in those situations where it's going to be extra important, when you're about to be stunned or when you're about to, die from it.
Yeah, it does need to get them to that point, though, because right now Moons will take every throw you throw at him and is being really on point with these anti-airs as well, not letting Diego get any mileage.
Wow. So much patience right now.
No. The first fireball Diego throws all round, and it gets beat out by the scale. Oh, it gets scooped, too, by the EX slide.
Yeah, I'm watching on the playback, but it looked like... Okay, no, it did... it just wasn't blocking low on the first hit of the EX Ruffian. It wasn't a combo. Right, blocking the overhead and challenging back. Plus frames on EX Zonk. Respects it. Oh my god, Moons is just hitting the jab, and you know you're allowed to because you've got the V trigger behind it. Rock for the trap play, and Moons on tournament point over Diego.
I wonder what you could do to get out of that rock, because it just seems like a lose-lose.
I think like you either respect the fact that it's coming, EXDP, maybe if they're close enough you throw and the throw animation gets you out of it.
Yeah, my brain was like EX Tatsu, but I don't know if that would be quick enough.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Finding the activate, a lot of corner carry here from Moons as well. Okay, the rock not landing close enough. Throwing another rock though. Okay, you gotta respect those.
Yeah, now we do see a nice little hit here. Gets the anti-air as well. Trying to string some stuff together. Moons is definitely willing to hold down back, though. Looking pretty good here. Does just chip away at the life bar time again.
Yeah, I mean, CA on deck from Moons. I'm not sure that it's a one-touch game even so, but Diego, it absolutely is for Diego now. You don't even really need to cash out. You can go into this next round. But the too much commitment, he was so hungry. Why are you this hungry? It's the day after Thanksgiving. Finding the back throw, cleaning up the round anyway.
You could have just lost right there.
Wow. The clench. Finishing it out, thankfully, though. One round apiece. This is still tournament point for Moons. Diego needs to make this happen. Has tons of resources. A little late on the jump in over the fireball. And it's so interesting here that Moons was allowed to play a fireball game now. It's the same thing I called attention to in the winner side version of this match. The fireball game from Diego has been so thoroughly dissuaded that Moons can start his own. Too much commitment once again from Diego. Cashing out into some big damage.
Final gonna get another activation point, though. Corner pressure now in favor of Diego, but again, throw escapes now being a thing for Moons. Doesn't really need to.
Whoa, this is peak Diego. When Diego walks in your face and hits a counter hit DP, that's peak Diego. This is what we need to see. Finding the counter jab, just Moons. He needs this to happen. He wants to clean this out right now. You know V-Trigger is on Moons' plate. We see there's the buffer on the jab. Literally if the jab gets blocked, we're going to see the target combo into VT. Diego doesn't want to let it happen. Turns on the offense and cleans out the round 2-2.
That was definitely a round. That was just nutty. Oh, Diego, though, keeping his composure, making sure that he's just unpredictable in every sense of the word, and it is going to bring it to a game 5 now. We may be getting a reset here, or we may be finding a champion. It is up to the two players on your screen here. Diego V versus Moons, and a great jump in to start the round here. Pocket sand.
Sometimes you gotta fight dirty. He ended up in prison for a reason. You learned some stuff, but some pretty decent stun. Ooh, okay, that standing short counter poke there. It's going to be really good to dissuade that range, and we've not seen Diego in a position to really pull that tool out very much in this matchup so far.
Right. Activate.
All right, good V reversal there from Moon's 2-bar V trigger, so we're definitely going to see it. EX Zonk set up the meaty fireball.
The
Oh, he
overhead.
landed into the overhead.
Just lots of scramble coming in favor of Moons, though. Is going to be reversal, but no punish available. And now just needs one.
Okay.
Tournament point.
Yeah, back to tournament point, but he's been here a couple of times, hasn't been able to clean it out yet. Loser side Diego has the Zenkai boost. We're starting to see it. He's so good when he's got that back against the wall.
Moons, though, just kicking it up a notch, getting hyper aggressive, going for that cross up as well as all the damage behind it. And it's just now completely trapping Diego in the corner.
That could have been it. You had the crush counter combo for stun. That could have been game, but you missed it. Just like that, you're back to mid-screen. You gave Diego all this space. VT on the board. Oh, the spacing trap baits the V-skill sway. He spent every bar he had to get you looking for the fireball.
I thought he was dead. Now he's definitely dead, and that'll do it. I think that's actually the same way we ended our last matchup between these two as well. The command grab just too much for Diego to handle, and that is going to be it. Moons is your Casa 35 grand champion, 34 champion.
Yep. Coming all the way through winner side. Diego almost had it there. I loved a lot of what was going on in that last round. I think it was just you woke up just a little bit too late, unfortunately. And speaking of too late, Bunch is too late to come in here and stop us from talking some nonsense all night, but he can sign the rest of y'all out tonight. Or he can be silent and make me sound like an asshole.
Nah, I got you. I heard you, Bunch. He's just stretching.
Well, this is awkward.
Yeah, Bunch, none of us can hear you.
I can hear him fine.
Oh, wait, Dom, you can't either?
No.
Yeah,
right,
I can hear
now
Bunch. I've heard him this entire time.
I ain't heard anything, and if Dom called it out as awkward, I'm assuming he couldn't hear it either.
Can the streets hear me? That's what's important.
Yeah, you're good now.
That's
I'm
weird.
so confused because I heard him the entire time.
Yeah, I was mid stretch. Doc heard that, and then I was saying that I've seen that match a million times before it was even a thing at Casa, but it's still nice to see always because you never know what you're gonna get with those with those fools, especially when alcohol's involved. But yeah, it's cool to see. It's sad to see that Diego still hasn't won one, but it's cool to see that that Angel won. So shout outs to him. Now if we could just get Marv to top 3, that'd be cool. Scrub. And shout outs to Flux getting 3rd again. Consistent top 3, if not top 2. A lot of new faces. This is our biggest bracket ever for Street Fighter. So thank you to all the competitors that signed up. We actually had a lot more people sign up, but after no shows and DQs, we got to about 49 players. So thank you. That's amazing. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the hard work from the entire team, from the stream team, Dink and Dom. I like that. Shout outs to all the commentators, plus Thomas Winkley. We had all main commentators plus Tom Winkley on deck today, so that was dope. And then of course the Wonder Twins, they do their thing. I ain't even gonna say nothing about them. And did I miss anybody?
Yourself for putting on an amazing tournament.
Nah, I had a few hiccups in the early part of Street Fighter, but we'll iron it out. Me and Dan Cravat holding it down, trying to figure it out. So please come by again. We'll try and make it work. Try and make it happen. Use the Matcherino codes. Check out the Streamlabs merch. Queens of Quarantine next Saturday or some shit like that. Um, Team Spooky Wednesday, Friday, Saturdays. All right, I'm out. I'm out of shout outs, so I'm out of here.
Well,
Got this.
you heard it, folks. That's
Yeah.
gonna do it for us here tonight. You got your thank yous in. You don't get any more from me except for this one. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Be safe, y'all. Good night.
Wash your hands, stay home, do all your shopping online.